Hello and welcome back to the show, and today I'm going to be talking about Backlash France, the most recent WWE pay-per-view that took place this past Saturday in Lyon. And it was, okay, full disclosure, in all honesty, the build to Backlash wasn't very interesting. WWE post-draft going into Backlash, this is usually a lull period. It's more or less just WrestleMania fallout. None of the on paper, this card didn't really look very impressive, so I wasn't overly excited for Backlash going into the show. Also, one thing I do want to mention, and this has nothing to do with Backlash, I hated the way that WWE conducted the draft. To me, it makes no sense. I would 100% go back to the way they did them in the late 2000s, early 2010s. A guy from Raw versus guy from SmackDown, whoever wins, that brand gets a draft pick. The way they do it now makes absolutely no sense. But Backlash this year, much like Backlash last year, the build wasn't overly impressive. The card didn't really look very impressive, but last year's show really delivered and had one of the best matches of WWE all year with Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. And Backlash this year also delivered for the most part. This was a really good show, primarily thanks to the crowd. And, well, let's get straight into it. First of all, massive shout out to the crowd in Lyon, France for Backlash. 11,000 people at the arena for Backlash, as well as 11,000 on SmackDown the night before. And on both nights, the crowd absolutely brought the energy and the passion to the show. The crowd was absolutely phenomenal on both nights, start to finish. They never lost the energy. The singing along to the theme songs of Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, phenomenal. The chants all night, the phenomenal chants for AJ Styles. The crowd in Lyon was absolutely incredible on both nights. To me, the crowd was, no question, the highlight of Backlash. Their energy, the passion was just an incredible thing to see. And I know a lot of people for years have been campaigning for WrestleMania in London at Wembley Stadium, but after Backlash, I think Paris should also be a strong contender for WrestleMania. If this is what 11,000 people could do for Backlash, I can only imagine what a stadium of 70 to 80,000 people can do in Paris for a WrestleMania. So I'm hoping this isn't the last WWE pay-per-view or PLE that we get in France, because that crowd on Backlash was phenomenal. Alright, our first match of the night was the Bloodline, represented by Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, versus Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. This, again, fallout from WrestleMania, the Bloodline without Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton still have beef with the Bloodline, and with Logan Paul being off of TV and the two of them still being paired together, think this is an interesting direction to take both guys, so I was interested to see what they would do with this match. This match, to me, was match of the night. It was an incredible way to start the show. They got into a brawl before the bell even rang, and this match turned into a street fight, no DQ, which definitely elevated. I would have much rather seen this than a standard tag team match. The start off brawling in the crowd, which was phenomenal. Solo, Kevin, Randy, and Tama, all four guys delivered in this match. There were some really cool spots with trash cans, trash can lids, the announce table, tables, a lot of really awesome moments with weapons in this match. There was a moment where Owens hit a frog splash from the barricade on the outside, and Orton teased doing the same thing, but he thought better of it and just hopped off. That was a really funny moment. This match was really good. Closing sequence saw Kevin Owens attempt a pinfall only for the referee to be pulled out, and it was Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga's brother, and this was enough for Solo to come back in. He hits the spike on Kevin Owens, 1, 2, 3. The Bloodline wins this match. Tonga Loa is the newest member of the Bloodline. The Gorillas of Destiny are now a part of WWE, and I can't wait to see what they do going forward. Gorillas of Destiny were a phenomenal tag team over in New Japan. Really liked their matches against Sonata and Evil and the Young Bucks and all the other teams that were in New Japan, and I'm looking forward to see what they do here in the WWE. And I am most excited for when we get Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa versus the Usos, Jimmy and Jay at SummerSlam. I'm calling it right now. That's where I see this going, and I can't wait for it. In the immortal words of Fry from Futurama, shut up and take my money. This match was excellent, very good, and in my opinion, match of the night. Moving on, triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. Bayley versus Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton. These three have been intertwined coming out of WrestleMania, and we are getting this triple threat. This match was good. It was a fine match, some really cool spots. One spot in particular where I believe it was Naomi hit a spear on Tiffany Stratton, like through the bottom rope to the outside. That was a really cool spot. The match itself was solid, but again, didn't feel pay-per-view worthy. If this match was the main event of SmackDown, would have been a really good main event, but on pay-per-view, just didn't hit as hard as I would have liked it to. But still a pretty decent match. The crowd elevated this match to make it better than what it was. And this is something that I've always believed. A great wrestling crowd can elevate a mediocre match to a good match to a great match, and a great match to a masterpiece. And the crowd definitely did that during Backlash. They elevated this match to making it good. Bayley retains the championship as she should. She just beat Io for the championship. No reason to take it off of her this soon. Closing sequence saw Bayley pinning Naomi, which makes sense because Tiffany Stratton is going to be booked to be the next big thing in the women's division. Tiffany Stratton, in my opinion, is going to win Money in the Bank in Toronto this year. I believe that her as Miss Money in the Bank could be a great thing for her character. She's a heel, and her winning the championship by cash-in will totally fit the character. I could also see her winning Queen of the Ring. I think Queen Tiffany has a nice ring to it. However, I think with Naomi, since she's returned at the Royal Rumble this year, she hasn't been involved in anything meaningful, and I think Naomi winning Queen of the Ring and getting a match at Clash at the Castle one-on-one, that would be a really nice thing to see, because Naomi, she's done nothing of note since coming back to the WWE earlier this year. So I'm hoping that we can steer the ship in the right direction, for lack of a better phrase, when it comes to Naomi. Tiffany Stratton is going to be fine. She's going to win Money in the Bank, in my opinion. And Bayley, like I said, no reason to take the championship off of her. And I'm looking forward to see where she goes next. Moving on, World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest defending against Jey Uso. The best part of this match was Jey Uso's entrance. The yeets and the hand motion and the entire crowd playing along, and especially with the arena blacked out and all the flashlights from the phones, Jey Uso's entrance was the highlight of this match and one of the best parts of the entire show. Great entrance for Jey Uso. This match was, again, fine. It didn't feel pay-per-view worthy. Like, if this happened to Open Raw or even to main event an episode of Raw, it would have been fine, but on pay-per-view, especially compared to the match that Damian Priest had last year against Bad Bunny, this match felt average to passable. Like, the match was fine, not bad or anything, and the crowd definitely did a lot to elevate it, but not the best showcase, not the best match. Or how should I say this? Like, the match was fine, but definitely the crowd enhanced it. I'm gonna skip forward all the way to the end because that's where the real substance happened. So JD McDonough comes out and he attacks Jay, and Damian doesn't seize it, and then he sees Damian, and they have a banter back and forth, and they've been slowly teasing Damian Priest, saying that he doesn't need Judgment Day, he can do this on his own, And I do feel like with Rhea being injured, the Judgment Day split, or at least Damian Priest getting kicked out of Judgment Day, is going to happen sooner than expected. Finn Balor also comes out, and again, Damian Priest, same thing. Why are you here? I can do this on my own. Damian Priest wins this match. Chokeslam to Jey Uso. 1, 2, 3. Post-match, there's a beatdown on Jey by Balor and McDonough, and Priest pushes both of them off. And he's like, what are you doing? The match is over. And they just stand there, stare at each other, and then Priest raises the title, and that's it. Damian Priest is going to get kicked out of Judgment Day. No question in my mind. I do believe that this is going to happen at Clash at the Castle. I do believe that Damian Priest is going to lose the world title to Drew McIntyre in Scotland. And I do believe that what's going to facilitate that is that Balor, McDonough, and Dominic are going to abandon him, and they're going to try to come in, and everyone will think they're going to help him, but instead they're going to help McIntyre by attacking Priest, and I do believe that's when the Judgment Day implosion is going to happen. This match was fine, but nothing overly spectacular. Following that, we had tag team match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Damage Control, represented by the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. This is the match that I thought we were going to get at WrestleMania, but instead it's happening here at Backlash. Couple of things I want to mention. Number one, the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships are worthless. They are the most irrelevant championships on current WWE television. The titles have no value, and the only time they ever had value was when Bayley and Sasha held them in 2020 during the pandemic, because that tied into their storyline. Number two, I like that the Kabuki Warriors have their own theme instead of coming out to that terrible Damage Control theme. That Damage Control theme song was terrible. Third, Kairi Sane and Asuka both deserve better than to be in a nothing match with no heat. Kairi, ever since she's made her return, has felt unimportant, like just another player, which is a shame because she's one of the best wrestlers, female wrestlers on WWE, on that active roster. And same for Asuka. Like, the way she was booked in NXT was like a masterclass. And like here, it's like, what is she doing? Like, Asuka can be used in a much more meaningful role than this. So I hope that Kairi and Asuka can both be taken into a more meaningful direction now that they're not the Women's Tag Team Champions. Jade Cargill. The way Jade was booked in AEW, they booked her very Goldberg-esque, like quick squash matches, nothing overly long or drawn out, because they knew her strengths and they knew her weaknesses. And Bianca Belair is great. One of the best women's wrestlers on WWE. She's got a great entrance, great moveset. She's legit. Crowd loves her. And I do feel this is a nice place for Bianca Belair for the moment. She's accomplished everything there is to do in the women's singles division. Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion. I do believe she is the longest reigning women's champion for the Monday Night Raw Women's Championships. I mean, that was a thing. Like, I believe like 400 days as champion. And I do think this is a nice, I guess you can say, placeholder role for when she inevitably transitions back into the singles capacity. This match was fine, nothing overly special. Closing sequence with Jade. She hit Jaded on Kairi after diving off the top rope. That was an incredible spot, actually. That was a really cool moment. And then Bianca pinned Asuka for the win. I do want to mention there was one spot here where the referee, he said that something about like Kairi's not legal, but she made the tag to Asuka, so she was legal. There was just one incident. It just looked absolutely stupid and ridiculous. This match was fine, nothing overly special. Bianca and Jade are the new Women's Tag Team Champions, as they should be. This was the right call. And, well, on to our main event, which was, of course, Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against AJ Styles. First-time match. and two former Bullet Club members, which the crowd in Lyon definitely knew. We got a couple of Too Sweet chants. This match was very good. Second best match of the night behind the opener. Felt like a main event, came off as a main event. Really good match, some amazing spots. Powerbomb through the announce table. Kimura lock by Cody on AJ. Really, really good match. Nice back and forth between the two guys. Cody Rhodes was never losing this match. He just won the belt a month ago, and you're not going to take it off of him in a month where he's worked so hard. The whole finish the story and the epilogue is only a month long. No way, not happening. This was a really good match. Both guys showcased their moves. AJ Styles once again showcases why he is a main event talent and why he deserves to be in a prominent role instead of being shoved into nothing storylines. This was a really good match and a great way to end Backlash. Cody Rhodes retained as he should, and I'm looking forward to see where Cody goes next, who his next challenger is, and I'm hoping that we keep AJ looking strong. Overall, Backlash was a really, really fun show. On paper, I wasn't excited, and the card looked like a glorified house show. The crowd brought the energy that made it feel like a pay-per-view. Because of that, this was a very good show and a really good night for pro wrestling. And that's all for today, and I'll catch you on the next one.